Yo.
Alright. You ready to go in about a minute? Alright. I am ready whenever you are.
I am ready.
Look at this one more time.
All right, what's up, fellas? Wake Up Mintzy, presented by the fine folks at Dude Wipes. It's a glorious, like a 68-degree morning here in Chicago in late October, man. You had to walk to work wearing a short T-shirt and shorts. What am I back in NOLA? A little windy, but whatever. Joined as always by Tyler Moody from Louisiana and drinking some Stella Blue coffee. The only way to start your morning. Support Barstool Big Cat. He's a great American. And they also brew some damn fine coffee. And I'm kind of surprised that I'm able to even drink the cold brew in late October. You know, I thought it'd be like the hotter weather. But check out stellabluecoffee.com. And in a good mood, as always. A lot of fun stuff going on. Yankees uncorking it on the Dodgers last night. I mean, I know at 3-0 it kind of felt hopeless and all that, but whooped their ass 11-4. Got a grand slam for Anthony Volpe. And maybe, I don't know if they have a shot, Game 5 tonight. Can they get back in it in the World Series? We'll see. I'm glad to see them at least, like, kind of make it a series because this series was so freaking hyped up. And, you know, the Dodgers, I felt like that Game 3 really, the sense of finality was there. But credit to the Yankees. They bounced back. They went 11-4. You know, I know our New York crew was real fired up on the stream last night. Can they get back in it? We'll see. They got to win. You know, obviously every game's must win at this point. But I kind of hope they do just to make it interesting because of how much hype was on this series. A lot of football stuff going on in the air. Starting to look ahead to another big week of college football and pro football. And shout out DraftKings as always. You know, a ton of great promotions. NBA last night, Jokic was the king of the court. If you had Jokic in the king of the court thing, you got a bunch of free bets. There's, I believe, one or two. Only a couple more days left on that promotion, but they're giving away $1 million in free bets. So make sure you get on there and check that out. And, yeah, let's just have a day, man. You know, as always, Wake Up Mintzy, presented by Dude Wipes, taking over the toilet paper world. You'll never need dry, crappy, scratchy toilet paper again. One use of Dude Wipes will change your life. Amazon, Target, Walmart, all over the World Wide Web. And with Halloween tomorrow, the Dumpkin Spice brand running out pretty soon. So, you know, 'tis the season. Drink some Stella Blue. Use some Dude Wipes. It's the bundle and combination of legends. All right, I want to go ahead and start going through some college football stuff for next week because every Tuesday I do my deep dive and I go through all the lines for the first time. And I've had a real good college football year. My NFL hadn't been as good. And went through them all yesterday. A lot of stuff to get into on the DraftKings front. And we got some, I wouldn't say there's like any like, you know, super elite games this week, but we got some interesting ones. You know, I'm very curious how Texas A&M, you know, off the huge win against LSU, 5-0 in the SEC. You know, one of the stories of college football, they got a super tricky road one at South Carolina, and there's a rat line on that at A&M by 2.5. Night game. So I'm curious. Marcel Reed going to go for A&M. They benched Connor Wegman last week. Reed, much better runner. Wegman just had a horrible game against Mississippi State and looked bad in the first half against LSU. But Reed gave him a great spark with his own read. Well, look what I did there. His last name and the play. Wow. I mean, amazing stuff, clearly. But he gave him a spark with the running game. But can they win on the road at South Carolina? Because this one feels like a super trap one. I mean, a 2.5-point road favorite. South Carolina usually good for a home win every year. They're kind of like known for pulling those upsets. This is a night game, Halloween weekend in Columbia. They'll be turned up. They almost got LSU earlier. So that one's kind of like on my radar as the possible rat one of the week, and I'm very curious to see. Am I going to pull the trigger on that? On that one, I may take them as a home dog. Some other ones to talk about: Georgia, Florida, as always. The former world's largest cocktail party in Jacksonville, Florida. Georgia's a 16.5-point favorite. That's the afternoon ESPN game. A lot of stuff to get to with this. So Florida playing a lot better. I mean, they had a horrible start to the year. They got blown out by Miami. And, they were juggling the two quarterbacks with Graham Mertz, the Wisconsin transfer, and DJ Lagway, the five-star freshman. Well, it's super unfortunate that Mertz hurt his knee against Tennessee, is out for the year. You hate to see that. But now Lagway, the true freshman, getting a shot and playing pretty good so far. They blew out Kentucky by a couple touchdowns at home. They beat Central Florida a few weeks ago. They fought Tennessee in overtime. Now, can they fight Georgia? We shall see. Plus 16.5, though, a lot of points. Georgia, off a bye week, made a statement at Texas in that 30-15 game. Are they back? I still kind of have some questions about their offense. Carson Beck was hyped as a first-round pick. I don't know that I see that. It doesn't seem like they've really replaced Ladd McConkey or Brock Bowers that well. But regardless of that, I'm curious about Georgia, Florida. And then, look, let's be honest. I'm an Ole Miss fan, obviously. Have been for a long time. Fayetteville, Arkansas road trips always scare me because Ole Miss has had a horrendous history in Fayetteville. Ole Miss is 6.5, 7-point favorite right now. Hopefully going to get Trey Harris back. That's an 11 a.m. game. Arkansas's played hard all year. I know they got blown out by LSU 2 weeks ago, but they bounced back blowing out Mississippi State. We already saw them get Tennessee at home. I thought Arkansas was going to be terrible going into the year. They're not. They play hard. They got a pretty good combo with Taylor Green, the running quarterback, and Jackson, the Utah transfer at running back, and a good D-line. So anxiety here for sure with Ole Miss and Arkansas. Just hope they pull that out with the huge Georgia game next week. When you look at Ole Miss, I mean, if you lose the third game, obviously the playoffs are out, and that's all that everybody cared about going in. So got some serious concerns about that Ole Miss-Arkansas game. But we shall see on that front. Looking forward to watching some football all weekend. And Thursday night, we're about to be joined by Tyler Moody because we're going to bring him in here and talk some NFL and some Major League Baseball. What's up, Mr. Moody? How are you this morning?
Yo, what's up, brother? How we doing, man? I'm trying to get my mind right. I'm a little tired this morning. I stayed up too late, but trying to get it going.
Okay, let's get it going, dude. That's what we do here. Let's wake up. Let's have a freaking day. Let's drink some Stella Blue. Let's get our minds right. Let's touch on this World Series. Look, I know they're down 3-1, but you got to – I mean, the Yankees didn't fold last night. 11-4 win. Got a grand slam out of Volpe. Big win.
Yeah, Anthony Volpe, big grand slam, and the Yankees just poured it on late. I thought they showed up last night. We talked about it. I thought Luis Hill would be good enough for the Yankees to get a win, extend it to Game 5. I think Garrett Cole will be good enough tonight to extend it to Game 6. And then the Dodgers are going to put the stamp on this thing in Game 6 back in L.A. We'll see if it plays out just like that. That is what we talked about yesterday morning. So, great game for the Yankees. They needed it. The city needed it. And by the way, the two fans in the outfield that ripped the ball away from Mookie Betts.
Yeah, we got to talk about this.
That was one of the most fascinating things I've ever seen in a Major League Baseball game.
So what the hell exactly happened there?
So Mookie Betts goes up to essentially rob a home run. The ball is going to be a little short, but he makes the grab. And then this fan reaches over and grabs Mookie Betts' glove, and he's trying to pry the ball out of his glove. Well, at the same time, this other Yankees fan reaches over and helps him and gives him the assist for stealing the ball away from Mookie Betts. Crazy moment.
It's still an out. They just stole the ball.
Yeah, they both got kicked out of the game.
It was like first inning, wasn't it?
Yeah, first or second, maybe. Yeah, I don't
imagine
exactly.
Spending like $5,000 for World Series tickets, but then you made your mark. I mean, I guess you wouldn't even be
now
back.
You are like Yankees fan legend for life, and a lot of people are saying that's what turned the series around for the Yankees. And I can see it both ways. I both think it's insanely disrespectful to the game of baseball. Like, you're a fan, you're there to watch the game, you're not to be a part of the game. I think it's very disrespectful to the game. On the other side of that, I totally understand being the super fan for your team that's willing to do anything and fight Mookie Betts for a baseball to help your team out. So, like,
especially when you're down 3-3, especially when you're down 3-0 in the World Series.
Yeah, exactly. Like the chances of you coming back and winning this series are slim, but you just made yourself a New York legend. I mean, fans were like giving this guy hugs on the way out. If they come back and win the series, if they were to go on a 4-0 run here and reverse sweep the Dodgers, I mean, people are gonna just go batshit crazy for this guy. He will get a key to the city if the Yankees somehow find a way to come back and win this. I don't think they're going to, but I think they do win tonight in New York and push it back to Game 6. But man, what a story for that guy. He is an asshole, but at the same time, he's now a New York legend.
Yeah, but New York legend, it all runs together with New York.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so looking at it tonight on DraftKings, DraftKings agrees with you. Garrett Cole and the Yankees minus $1.48 against Jack Flaherty. Rematch of that Game 1, which was a just instant classic, dude. That Game 1. And you really look back at the series, and you said it then and saying it again now, that was a must-win for the Yankees. And if they would have not blown that lead, it would be 2-2 right now, and this would be anybody's series. And it really felt like the Freeman grand slam walk-off in the 10th, and then off Cortez, and then also that play in the 8th in Game 1 when Ohtani hit the ball off the wall and they booted the ball coming in and allowed him to get to third. That allowed the sac fly that tied it. And that feels like a play that really hurt him. And I don't know. It's like that's, you can say ifs, ands, or buts till, you go in the grave. But that feels like the one they let get away. And they bounced back last night. I mean, I wish this thing was 2-2, to be honest.
Well, we talked about it. They had to have games 1, 4, and 5. They needed to win with Garrett Cole on the mound. He's their ace. He is the one dude, and he showed up. Garrett Cole was tremendous.
He was mowing him down.
I mean, he was classic vintage Garrett Cole, and that's exactly who he needed to be, and that's absolutely who he has to be tonight. I do think he's going to show up once again. He's a gamer, man. Even when he was in Houston, he was always willing to take the ball in the biggest moments, and he rises to the occasion most of the time. I think he'll do that again tonight. I think the Yankees extend this to 6. I like Garrett Cole and the Yankees to get it done. I think he's going to have another masterful performance. I think Flaherty will probably be good once again as well. Prefer the under in this game, but these offenses could break out late and go over like they did in Game 1. But I do like the Yankees. I like Garrett Cole, and I still think the Dodgers will win the series.
Do you think the Yankees minus a run and a half at plus 136, does that have value, or is that just too dicey?
Say again?
Yankees minus a run and a half. No. Minus a run and a half tonight's plus $1.36.
Yeah, I can see it. If you're trying to find some value somewhere,
I just don't. I don't want to lay 150. I don't want to lay 150, 148.
No, laying 150 sucks. What's the first 5 money line? I think that would be my preferred play in this game, actually, to take the Yankees on the first 5 money line, because the bullpen for the Yankees is good, but that the Dodgers lineup is better than anything the Yankees can throw at them from the bullpen. So my thought would be first 5 money line on the Yankees.
Okay, I don't see it out on DraftKings yet, but I'm sure it'll be out later. I'm also curious. I'm gonna look up the series price right now too, because I'm curious to see what team futures. Right now, the series price is Yankees are plus 600, Dodgers minus 900. Seems about right. 600 is probably not. Right. Honestly, 600 is probably not enough.
It's not enough. It really
should be 8. I think it should be like 8-1. When you look at the fact that they got to win 3 in a row with 2 of them being out in LA, I don't think that's enough.
By the way, Yankees first 5 is minus 160. So Vegas agrees with me here, and we're probably just going to stay away from that. I just don't think there's enough value there. I guess if you're looking for the value in the game, it is Yankees minus 1.5. It's not comfortable because the Dodgers are just so damn good. But
yeah, it's weird when you take the home team's minus 1.5 too, because then you don't get the 9th inning at bat.
Yes.
If they win by 1, you get 1 less chance to score runs. Like, I know, is that a weird thing? But I feel like you almost, if you're laying the 1.5, you'd rather get 9 at bats.
No, you're right. And it's something that I noticed a lot during the regular season. I went through this phase where I was like, oh, baseball's rigged, because, like, how are these teams magically coming back in the 7th and 8th and making it a 1-run game whenever they were just getting their ass whooped the whole time? And I don't know. And then the team wouldn't get a bat in the bottom of the 9th to push it over. But that's neither here nor there. I do agree with what you're saying, though. You lose your chance to pick up that extra run in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah,
but I like the Yankees tonight. For sure.
Yeah, and I'm glad we get to watch the I'm looking forward to watching tonight too. I love when these games are midweek. Baseball playoffs have been fascinating this year. I've gotten back into it, and got my Wednesday night playing around watching this game. So kind of hoping Garrett Cole. I think I may lay the 1.5. I think I might do it.
I can see it.
Just plus 136. Like, even if I lose, I'm not like that mad at that price. Let's get into a bunch of stuff going on in the world of the National Football League. Some injuries to get into. We'll have the DraftKings Fantasy Football Pod out tomorrow. Thursday night game. We got Texans and Jets tomorrow night. Stephon Diggs, non-contact injury, might be ACL out for the year. They're being quiet about it. They hadn't said anything, but to me, it doesn't feel good.
He's done.
Oh, he's done? Okay, they announced it.
He's got ACL. Yeah, he's torched for the year, which is obviously really unfortunate for Houston. They will get Nico Collins back next week, so they're kind of trading one for the other. I think Houston will be fine in the short term. I think they'll be fine in the long term. Like, Diggs was good, but Nico Collins was better. If you're going to lose one of the two guys for the season, you would prefer Diggs. I mean, you'd rather not have to choose, but definitely getting Nico Collins back is going to make us forget about Stephon Diggs pretty quickly. But it sucks for Stephon Diggs owners in fantasy. That I know.
Yeah, and for C.J. Stroud owners to be now without his top two receivers. Looks like Nico is going to be back week 10, I believe. So not this week, but the next week off the hamstring injury. When you look at this side, the New York Jets, most disappointing team in football, you think? I think so.
Yeah, just based on the hype.
Based on the fact that they gave Roger, you go get a 39, 40-year-old and go all in, and now you're 2-6.
I would say, and the fact that the hype for Aaron Rodgers has had to drag out 2 years as well, right? Like last season, it was going to be their year and everything, and he gets hurt on the first series, and then he's done, and then that hype, they carried it all the way into the season. Like, oh, when Rodgers is back out there, we're a Super Bowl contender, and now they're just 2-6. Then they trade for Davante Adams, and there's more hype 2 weeks ago, and then they fall flat. Davante Adams only has 7 catches in his 2 games with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they have literally been no better with Aaron Rodgers than they were with Zach Wilson. So the Jets have just stayed in the exact same lane that they've been in. Nothing ever materialized. I would say they have been the most disappointing team in the NFL. I think the 49ers are a close second right now, but San Francisco has a chance to win their division still. So you're not as worried about them. Like, everything could end up okay for them in the end. It doesn't feel like that's happening for the Jets.
Dude, look at the AFC East. The Bills may clinch in like week 11. Dude, the Jets, Pats, and Dolphins all have 2 wins. I mean, the Bills are like 6-2. They're up like 3.5, 4 games already, and it's going to week 9. I mean, this thing's like over. And the Bills play Miami this week. I mean, they already have all but clinched it. But I mean, they win this week, it's over.
Yeah.
And this Thursday night game, though, I kind of like under 42, man. I mean, the Texans, like C.J. Stroud's not as good on the road as he is at home, and they're without all these receivers. They're going to try to run it with Mixon. The Jets have kind of a bad run D. And then the Jets offense, I mean, we've been waiting on them to break out all year, and it still hadn't happened.
Yeah, I think the under's the play here. I don't know how you take the over with the way the Jets offense is played. I mean, maybe they'll show up and Rodgers will have his breakout game. Devontae catches a couple touchdowns, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Houston's been very solid defensively, and I don't know. I think without his top 2 targets, you will see Mix. Hey, if you like a play tonight, it's probably Mixon to get into the end zone, maybe Mixon over rushing yards. You have to check and see what Mixon has on his rushing yards, because I think that's one thing that is definitely interesting. Let's get to some of the questions we have over here in chat. Do you think Hopkins will succeed in Kansas City this week?
Yeah, so, okay, I think it's going to be one of those things where he looked like he was part of the game plan last week, more so than maybe I expected. I didn't know that they'd use him too much at first because it's a new offense, a new system. But, man, he's got a good role there. Because you look at that receiving core, I mean, he's going to be the best receiver they have. Like, I don't think he's a guy that's going to catch 10 balls a game, but he's going to be a guy they go to on third down in the red zone and probably catch 5 or 6 balls. I think solid number 3 receiver in fantasy, especially in PPR. What do you think?
No, I think he's gonna start to come around slowly but surely. I would like to. I mean, he needs a big week soon. Here's the thing: Andy Reid is always going to put his team in the best position to win. And if that means that Hopkins is the guy, then you're going to start to see Hopkins emerge. I think that right now, though, they're just going to continue to spread it around. I think Xavier Worthy is going to continue to see more and more play week to week as well, because they're starting to get him manufacture plays for him.
Yeah, I noticed that even though he had a touchdown and caught a few balls or a couple he didn't catch, it seemed like he was more in the game plan last week.
they're definitely starting to use him more in the game plan. And I think Hopkins being there is going to open some things up for Xavier Worthy, and that may in turn open things back up for Hopkins. So I kind of expect Hopkins to be a weapon in the playoffs more than in the regular season. I think he's going to continue to be like a good asset for them, and he'll have some pop-off weeks here and there, but I don't think you're going to see like the vintage DeAndre Hopkins week to week where he's putting up 20 plus every single week. But I could see him being a huge factor whenever the playoffs roll around. That's one of the main reasons they brought him in, is to help them get over the hump in the postseason.
Yeah, and you look at it, I mean, they got Hopkins, Kelsey, Worthy. They're going to kind of spread it out, be the Somerville. The one thing I'm mad about with KC is why aren't there more damn deep shots to Worthy? And I know all these defenses are running these two high safety looks, and they're saying that's right there. I just thought they'd at least chunk one or two bombs to Worthy. Like, that was the whole point of this. And, he's caught a couple this year, but I thought that was literally the entire point, was to have him taking the tops off of defenses. And they hadn't really been firing the deep shots I was hoping for.
No, they use them on sweeps and reverses more than they do taking shots downfield. And I just don't think that's really in the offense right now for Kansas City. For whatever reason, they're just not taking the big shots down the field. Mahomes has been playing more in the intermediate game. They're running the football efficiently and just playing defense. But I just, again, you can never doubt anything that Andy Reid chooses to do, because he's the freaking man. He's one of the greatest coaches to ever coach the game. And so, like, I don't even think anything about it, because like I have Xavier Worthy in 2 leagues. I wish he would pop off. I wish they'd use him more in that role. But whatever Andy Reid thinks, you just got to tip your cap and say, yeah, I agree.
I mean, Worthy's like so tantalizing though, like he probably
Yes,
is still learning the wide receiver position in the NFL as far as running routes and all that stuff. It was just like when they took him, they were just like, dude, he's like the Tyreek speed guy. Like it could be so much. Chat, continue to fire away too. We'll answer some questions. We're talking some NFL and some fantasy football today. As always, look at some DraftKings. What you got?
I hear you, by the way, Aiden. I agree, bro. I hear you. Our boy Dees was saying, why are the Jets favored on DraftKings tonight? I think it's just the being at home.
The Jets have a strong power ranking because all year their lines have been like this. They were favored by 3 in Pittsburgh last Sunday? How the hell? I remember that. How are they laying 3 in Pittsburgh? What? And like all year, they were laying 7 at New England. Now they're laying 2. There's a strong power ranking on the Jets, and maybe it's because Vegas thinks Rodgers is still good. I don't know, but like the Jets get way more respect from the odds makers than they deserve at 2 and 6. That's for sure.
Well, and I also think part of the reason is they realize that Aaron Rodgers is a very public. The Jets have been a public play since Rodgers has gotten there, because the public also believes in Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? So Vegas has to cover their ass in the same way. Vegas has a high power ranking, and I think that's one of the main reasons, because I do not think the Jets are a good football team, but for some reason, Vegas has continued to have a good ranking on them.
I'll also say on the Texan side, they're like 6-2, but they've just like done just enough all year. CJ Stroud hadn't really gone off. They have injuries. Like they've just been winning ugly every week, but that's a testament to them. They got a really good defense, and Mixon's been good, but the passing game hasn't been what we thought.
Yeah, no, I think that's a big part. They're playing close games. Like they're winning, but everything they're doing is just close games at the moment.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. That's the NFL for you. Looking ahead to some, you got any more chat, or you want me to hit some?
We have one more. Thoughts on Mahomes not playing up to what he has done, regardless of the record. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
It's so weird. It was like this last year too. It's really, look. He had the huge year. They let Tyreek go, and then he ended up having like his best year without Tyreek a couple years ago when they beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And you kind of thought like, hey, it doesn't even matter if Tyreek's gone. He's still this explosive. But actually, it does matter if Tyreek Hill's gone. And, they've kind of had to put together their receiving core. And then also, Hollywood Brown never played for him. Pacheco's been a big loss for them. Kelsey's getting older, even though he's been playing better. Kelsey's still really good. He's just not explosive anymore. Like Kelsey used to catch 70-yard touchdowns all the time. He'd get in the open field, and he can't run like that in the open field anymore. He's still really good, though. He can get it, and he catches a lot of third down balls and is good, but he's just not explosive. And so I think, it's a combo of a lot of that.
Yeah, here's the thing about Mahomes. If they need him to turn it up for a game, he will, though. Like, if they need him to go pop off for 40 points, I think it's in the bag. I just think it's not really part of the game plan. The fact that he's throwing these interceptions is not a part of the game plan. But, them attacking, we just talked about it, them attacking downfield is just not as much part of the game plan right now. So from a fantasy perspective, he's just not lighting it up. And if you're going to turn it over while you're playing the short to intermediate game, that's definitely not going to be good for you in fantasy terms. But I think in a couple weeks, you'll see a game where Mahomes needs to throw for 3 or 4 touchdowns. And guess what? He will rise to the occasion because he's just that dude, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and their defense is so good too. I mean, their
So
defense
good.
is
Best defense in the
that's the
NFL.
thing. Yeah, and so I think they don't feel like they have to score 35 points to win because obviously they don't. They're undefeated, so they're doing something right. And they're Monday night playing the Bucs at home. Monday Night Football, 8.5 point favorite. That feels like a big line though. I think 8.5 may be too much there.
Yeah, anything you guys have from chat, feel free to fire it this way. We're chatting about it. Deez says, how about them Falcons? Will they sweep the South?
Man, the fact that they already swept Tampa, you got to feel pretty good about it. I mean, because to me, it was obviously a 2-horse race, the Falcons and the Bucs. Because, I mean, I guess there's an NFL game in Carolina, Moody. You call the Saints Carolina an NFL game Sunday? I mean, no. I mean, so it looks. I mean, maybe the Saints can beat Atlanta at home, like in a rivalry game, but nah, Atlanta's got this thing in the driver's seat. The key to the whole season was the Thursday night game when Cousins threw for the 500 yards, because Tampa should have won that game, and Bucky Irving fumbled down there, and Atlanta ended up winning an OT, and then Atlanta losing Evans and Godwin. Still, Tampa Bay losing Evans and Godwin. Tampa still fought last week, but I feel like Atlanta. I mean, they all but put the division away last week, in my opinion.
They're only up 1 game on Tampa Bay. They have the
tiebreaker, so it's basically 2.
Right, but I don't think it's over yet. I just don't. I think Tampa Bay is still going to be breathing down their neck for a while because Baker still played pretty damn good last week.
No, he did, even without Evans and Godwin.
Look, he's a game or two. You got to give Baker some credit. So I don't think they're just going to run away with this thing. I think Tampa Bay is going to keep it close, but they should sweep the South, though. That I do agree with. I think they should beat everybody in the South. I think they could easily lose to the Cowboys this week. I think Dallas probably beats Atlanta, and Atlanta falls to 5-4. So we'll see how that game turns out.
That's going to be a while.
It's a crucial game in a way because let's say they get a win, Tampa loses, then you're really in the driver's seat.
Well, no, so especially if they win and Tampa's at KC Monday.
Exactly.
And that's a fascinating game on the Dallas side too, because Dallas is 3-4 right now, and you look at the Commanders at 6-2. You look at the Commander, and then the Eagles have looked a lot better the last 2 weeks. Eagles blowing out the Giants and Bengals on the road. Dallas is, I would say this may be must win.
Oh, it certainly is must win, and I'll tell you the difference. Here is the difference between the Cowboys and the Commanders. It's Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn is the difference. Look at what he has done since joining Washington. He took the worst defense in the NFL. He's made them average. Their defense is just average, but that's all they need to be with Jaden Daniels out there running the show offensively. And then look at the Cowboys. They went from being a top 3 defense last year to being absolutely ass. I mean, as a Cowboys fan, they are atrocious. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. They can't stop the run against anybody. It is bad, bro. And Dan Quinn deserves infinite amount of credit. If Dan Quinn is not the coach of the year at the end of the season, if things continue on the trend that they're continuing on at the moment, I think he absolutely has to be coach of the year. I don't know who has done a better job than Dan Quinn.
Now I'm thinking out loud right now. Who would be the other candidates? I mean,
well, I think Andy Reid has to be in the conversation. His team's undefeated, and they're playing great on the defensive side of the football.
Actually, Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, I can see that as well.
Oh yeah, dude, they were picked to finish last in that division and started 5-0 in Minnesota. And I think
they're going to fade though. I think they're going to fade.
Oh no, I agree. Even though if Anthony Richardson starts Sunday, I love the Vikings Sunday night. Vikings are 5-point favorite at home against the Colts. I mean, if you're like the Colts, what's the locker room like? It's like, hey, let's roll out Richardson and score hopefully 20, and he goes 2 for 15 passing in the first half against Houston. But then when Flacco starts, you score high 20s or 30s every game.
Yeah.
Are you trying to win? I mean, I know he's your first-round pick, but damn.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to. They're just trying to, look like they made the right pick. But you can still look like you made the right pick in the future. Anthony Richardson can be your quarterback next year, and Joe Flacco can take the reins this year and give you a chance to make a run at the division. Because, I mean, I don't know. I think I think it's foolish to have Anthony Richardson out there. We've seen that he's not quite ready to be an NFL quarterback. He's a good player and like an X factor for sure. But, I mean, I just don't think he's ready to play quarterback at the NFL level right now.
Have you ever seen a quarterback tap out because they were tired? Did you see that Sunday from Richardson? He tapped his helmet to pull him out of the game because he was tired.
Never seen
I mean,
that.
I ain't never seen that at the quarterback position.
No.
I feel like I watched a lot of football in my 41 years, too. I mean,
there was a lot of.
It's kind of a bitch move.
It was a bitch move for sure. There was a lot of NFL players that were giving him shit about it. You know, whenever your fellow peers decide to talk shit about you, that's you're not doing something right. By the way, Dan Quinn plus 220 to win Coach of the Year. Kevin O'Connell plus 500. Sean Payton plus 550.
Oh, yeah. And that's actually a great transition into this kind of sneaky fun game in Baltimore. Denver, 5-3. Ravens in a bounce-back spot after losing at Cleveland. Baltimore's a 9-point favorite, huge favorite here. So this Denver thing, and I know you were big on them going into the year, and not like saying they're a Super Bowl or anything like that, but you just said they're going to be better than people think, could make the playoffs, like a winning record. That's exactly what this has been. They're 5-3. They've just beaten all the worst teams in the NFL, but all you can do is beat who's on your schedule. Every time they played somebody good, it's been rough. Now they've got a measuring stick road trip at Baltimore. The Baltimore pass defense, what the hell happened? I mean, and I know teams can't run on them, so it does skew their passing numbers a lot. But, like, their pass D, I mean, Jameis was chunking it all over them. Every week people are going off against them. I'm curious how Nix will do against the Ravens, though, because complex defense when he's a rookie.
Yeah, this is the one thing that I'm curious about. And their pass rush isn't getting home. It's part of the other reason that they're having they stopped the run very well, but they're just not getting to the quarterback as much as they used to in the past, and that's exposing them on the back end too. This is a huge week to find out how good Denver is. I mean, they're 9.5-point dogs here. We've seen Bo Nix. It was really week one and early on in the season when he looked like crap. He looked tremendous last week, but he took advantage of a bad defense.
I think we're Port Carolina needs to be relegated.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, they're so bad, and I keep I'm an underdog guy, and I keep being like, I mean, they're getting 13 in a pro football game, and not enough.
Yeah, they're absolutely terrible. I think we need to take everything that's done against them with a grain of salt too. And so even though Nick's lit it up, I need to see it this week. If they just are competitive in this game, Bo Nix does a good job of taking care of the football, because that's what I'm concerned with in this game, is him possibly turning it over. I do expect him to use his legs a lot. It's something he's done so far early on in his career. I expect him to do that, but he has to prove it to me this week. I know I'm kind of one of the few people that's beating the drum for Denver, but I need to really see it this week. This is one of those litmus test games for Sean Payton, Bo Nix, and the Denver Broncos. And I'll be honest, I kind of like Baltimore -9.
I like Baltimore. I think it's a bounce-back spot. The line's high for a reason, and I think Denver's the good, bad team that just beats bad teams. And I also feel like this Knicks thing as a rookie, while he has looked good, I think this is a spot where he struggles. I think it's going to keep being up and down. But whatever. Props to Sean P. Wish Sean P. was still coaching Nola. I can damn sure tell you that.
Yeah, well, I think right now with all the injuries, no matter who was coaching the Saints, they would be in a rough spot.
Yeah, they got a lot of guys back last week, but it doesn't matter. Who's going to win this? Does somebody have to win the Saints-Panthers game? I mean, I feel like maybe I might bet on it being a tie.
All I care about is Taysom Hill in that game. I'm taking Taysom Hill 2+ touchdowns. I'm going to be on Taysom Hill anytime touchdown. I love Taysom Hill this week. This is the kind of game where he balls out, especially if Carr doesn't play, because Rattler has been okay, but
Has he even been okay?
Okay enough for I don't know. I don't think he's good, but Taysom Hill is going to be the guy this week. Taysom Hill is one of my favorite plays in any game this week. I think he's going to have a monster showing. I do think Kamara is going to get his as well, but I love Taysom Hill to have a pop-off game. It's the only thing I care about in that game. That's it.
Yeah, I love the Taysom Hill call, too. I think I might bet the 2 touchdowns on DraftKings, because Taysom Hill usually has pretty good touchdown odds.
I got him at the week that I had him 25-1 for 2+ touchdowns, and I hit it, and then he got hurt before halftime.
I may use we've got our stool viver. We're running it back where we do the end zone crown thing. And last week I did David Njoku and hit. I think I might use Taysom Hill this week.
Yeah, I love Taysom this week. He's definitely one of my top plays of the week. One thing that we missed talking about the Ravens, and shout out to Dalton for this one. Did I miss Ravens in the Deontay trade? And I love this for the Ravens. Actually, people question Deontay Johnson and his work ethic and whatnot. And he does seem to take some plays off. But part of that could be playing for the Carolina Panthers. Like I think there could be, and I know he had some of that in Pittsburgh as well. But he's going to be stepping into an organization that seems to have everything on track and plays the game the correct way. If he will show up to Baltimore and put in the correct time and the effort, I think he will be really good for them in the playoffs, especially. It's going to take him a few weeks to learn the playbook, but I think he could be an extra weapon. That the Ravens, they have weapons, but they need a Deontay Johnson.
And he'll be fired up. He's an old Steeler, so he's going to be fired up to be back in the AFC North. I mean, he's familiar with that division. And, dude, him, Zay Flowers, and like Rashad Bateman, who I've always made fun of because, since he was drafted the first round 4 years ago, he's done nothing until this year. He's actually given him something. And then you got, Likely, and you still got Andrews at tight end and Henry at Justice Hill at running back. Like, dude, serious football team. Very
serious football team. They gotta fix the back end though of that defense. That's the only issue. Kansas City will go that Mahomes will throw for 5 touchdowns against them right now the way that Baltimore secondary is playing.
And then they played week 1 and KC rolled them week 1.
KC is still a better football team than them. Dalton was also asking, is Harbaugh a good coach? Yeah, I think Harbaugh, the Ravens.
Well, he's amazing.
Good.
Dude, the Ravens, you look at that organization, you don't see every year they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then the Jim Harbaugh thing's epic. I mean, the Chargers, they've been a joke for years. They've been like a team that's supposed to break out and always underachieves, and now look at how good he's got them playing. Chargers at Cleveland, Chargers at Cleveland, by the way. Something that'll, come out on the fantasy pod tomorrow, but you mentioned this already, and I agree. The Jameis experience, right when he throws for over 300 and everybody buys in, I feel like I want to bet, if you could bet over 1.5 interceptions here, do it.
Listen, I own Jameis Winston for fantasy multiple years in a row. He loves to back up a good game with a game where you're like, what the hell are you doing, Jameis? That is Jameis Winston in a nutshell. As soon as he gets the hype, as soon as people start to believe, he makes you not believe again. I'm hoping, look, I am cheering for Jameis. I hope Jameis lights the world on fire. I hope he never throws another interception. He is one of the funnest players to ever play in the league. You got to love his enthusiasm. I love that he's been giving credit to God. And I love where Jameis is at mentally. But has he taken that next step? I got to see it to believe it. And this is the kind of game where he would normally turn the ball over a couple times. And I think he's going to throw a pick in this one for sure.
Especially against the Chargers defense. It's pretty damn elite.
Pretty damn good.
I know. I kind of like the under in that game. It's like 42. I mean, honestly, we're at a point where if the Chargers take the field, you like the under. I mean, every game's in the 30s.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't see interception props up on him just yet.
No, it won't be. I want to ask about this Bears-Arizona game because I know the thing is, one of the differences between professional sports and college is pro athletes, you're not 18 to 21. Usually the week-to-week stuff doesn't linger over as much. In college, it does a lot. However, when you lose like they lost with that Hail Mary last week, now you're going to Arizona. I feel like that's kind of a hangover spot. But I also think this game might get a little wild.
Yeah, I think it's going to get wild for sure. I don't know. Arizona's been good enough. They're competitive. Arizona's also favored. I think Arizona could win that game. I think it's going to be a high-score game. I love the over. That's what I like in that game. Over 44.5 is my favorite play. I have Caleb Williams as my DFS quarterback this week. I think Roma Dunze is going to play well. I do think the Cardinals are going to play pretty good as on the other side too. At least competent offense to make it a high-scoring game. I like over 44.5 in that game though.
Where are you on Caleb Williams right now?
I think he beats bad defenses. I think he struggles against good defenses. And I think this week he's playing a bad defense, and he's going to take advantage of that. That's what I'm seeing right now from Caleb.
I know you said the Commanders have improved from worse than the NFL to average, but Caleb was 10 of 24 or 25 last week. He was 3 of 9 at the half. That's...
Yeah, he looked awful in that first half, but he played better down the stretch. He played well enough to put them in a position to win. Obviously, the Hail Mary was an insane play to finish things up, but I still think he's got a lot of growing pains, and I think he's going to continue to have those throughout the course of the year. Like I could see them making a run at the playoffs and then falling short because Caleb's just not quite there yet. But I do think that he has a chance of being a very solid NFL quarterback. And I was kind of low on him to start the season.
All right, probably the biggest game of the week, but it just sucks that Jordan Love's out. Lions at Packers. Detroit, 3.5-point favorite in Lambeau. One interesting thing here. Jared Goff only has 2 outside games all year this year. At Green Bay and at Chicago. Every other game indoors. Whole year. I know, and he's like, historically, I don't know that it's going to be cold in Wisconsin this weekend, but his stats when it's cold are bad. He's a California guy. He's not built for the cold weather. But Malik Willis going for Green Bay, and LaFleur did a great job with them. I mean, he went 2-0, beating the Colts and the Titans earlier this year. Having said that, tough spot with how hot Detroit is. And the fact that, Malik hurts the passing game so much. Like, yeah, the running game's still good with him, especially with his running threat, but Detroit's got a good run D. Do you give them any chance at all in this game?
I give them a chance because their defense is really good. I don't think people are talking about how good this Packers defense is. This was the game that I had circled because me, I bet the Packers a few weeks ago to win the Super Bowl. Like I think the Packers are a very good football team with Jordan Love at the helm of the offense. Problem is he's not going to be there this week, and this was the game that I expected them. Everybody, what I thought was going to happen was Green Bay was going to beat up on Detroit in this game, and everybody's going to be like, "Oh, damn, the Packers are for real." And now we don't have Jordan Love out there to make that happen. So I'm staying away from this game because I do think the Packers defense is going to make this very competitive. I don't write Green Bay off in this game is all I'm saying. But at the same time, it's tough to bet against the Lions and how they've looked the last couple of weeks as well. So I'm staying away from it. If anything, I kind of like under in this game because I just think the Green Bay defense is going to show up here.
I do too. And Green Bay's also going to run the ball to shorten the game. And Detroit, the outside thing. But, like, my dumb ass had under 45.5 in Titans Lions last week. And that was one I'll never get back. Like, the over hit with, 3 minutes to go in the first half. Detroit hit it by themselves.
Yeah, look, the Packers are not the Titans, though. So yeah, I think we're in a spot here, especially with Detroit on the road, away from the dome, and this could be one of those spots where we find out, hey, look, Goff struggles when he's not on turf. Who knows? We'll find out. But I do think Green Bay is going to be competitive in this game, and it'll be because of the defense and Josh Jacobs. Give me under 48.5, and I really like that play.
Hell yeah. And then don't forget to join us in the Part of My Take AWL League, $5. Compete against all the Part of My Take guys and us in the daily fantasy. Love DraftKings, though, man. I know we talk about all the time, our DK partners, but it really does amaze me, all the stuff they've got.
My favorite thing about DraftKings is just the layout of the app. Your ability the way you can just cycle through different props. Like at one time I was using everything, right? And I still have accounts everywhere. But DraftKings, just the ability to go through the app so simply. I think the layout and the user interface is the best, point blank, period. And that's the reason, before I even really joined up with you, that's the reason I had gravitated to DraftKings, just because of the UI. I think it's just so good.
Yeah, I love the same game parlay thing, especially the ones that give you the boost on the primetime games. You could really draw. I mean, it's so fun for for $10, you can draw up like a fun sweat in these games.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Anything else we got, chat? And by the way, City. Good morning, ladies. There you go.
Good morning, ladies. But the Afro man.
Yeah, the Afro man.
The Afro man. Well, no rap here, but
yeah,
no more rap. No more rap on Wake Up Mintzy. So we can't rap about the Colt 45 and the 2 zigzags, but we can say it.
Maybe that's all we need.
Yep, it's all we need. It's all we need. Well, we got Brandon Walker tomorrow. Talk about your college football with him. A lot of fun stuff going on at Barstool, as always. I'm really hope Ole Miss wins Saturday to set up a big weekend next weekend in Oxford.
I want to touch on one other team that I think is getting ready to make a little run here is the Los Angeles Rams. Everybody is back and everybody is healthy. And if there's one person that I just do not count out, it's Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay. These dudes know how to play some damn football. McVay is a good coach. The problem is he was missing 2 of the best wide receivers in the league to open up the season. I still don't like their defense, but I love the Rams this week against the Seahawks. I think the Rams cover 2 on the road. They get a win. They get back to 500. And I kind of like the Rams to win that division.
Let's take a look at what the odds are. Let's take a look at the odds. I mean, the IU can.
Let's talk some division. Let's look at divisions real quick on each side.
All right, I'm looking at it right now. I'm pulling up the props.
All right, division winner. I got them here.
right.
In the NFC West, we are looking at that's the bottom, of course. 49ers plus 110, rightfully so. Arizona plus 320, and the Rams 4-1 right now to
Really?
win that division. I like it.
4-1.
I'm gonna bet it. I'm gonna bet it right now.
You know the Rams already got a head-to-head win over the Niners in the tiebreaker too. That's big.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I just think they're going to play really good football over the next couple of weeks. Like everybody's back. They have still been competitive and competent even without their best guys. It's one of my favorite plays of the week. I think the Rams show up. I think everybody's reminded like this is a competent football team. I still don't think the Seahawks are that good. And for that reason, I think the Rams win this game. They get to 4-4, and they are going to be the team that's in the driver's seat to win this division down the stretch.
I will say this. I know the Rams defense isn't great, but Jared Verse is the Florida State first rounder has been very good. And they've got some young D linemen. I mean, I don't know how you really replace Aaron Donald, but they're doing the best they can. I don't think they're like horrible.
They're getting better. They were bad to start the year, but they're turning the page a little bit. And when you have new personnel, especially when your defense was built around a Hall of Famer, a legend, one of the greatest defensive linemen of all time, you're not going to replace a guy like that. It's just simply not going to happen. But they've started to find their way a little bit. Dees was asking if we like the over in that game. Yeah, I would like the over there as well.
I need to see if it's a rainy day in Seattle, like the last Sunday was the Buffalo Seattle.
That's
before.
a good point.
Like that
if the weather is good, I like the over.
Yeah, no, if the weather's good, I like the over. Boy, Seattle's the hardest team to figure out week after week in the NFL. I mean, you don't know what you're getting when they take the field. The home, blown out by the Bills at home, the horrible Giants home loss, but then they won it. That win in Atlanta by 2 touchdowns was impressive. It's hard to read them.
Yeah, I don't think they're that good, but I think they show up and play hard for their coach. And I think
DK being out really hurts the passing game too.
Yeah, it definitely hurts the passing game. I just think that they're a very average football team, and their coach has them playing hard every single week, and their effort is getting them some wins at some points. Like I don't know that they're that talented overall, but they're playing hard. You got to give, and sometimes that's what it takes, man. Full on effort to win games, and I think that everybody shows up and plays hard for Pete Carroll because he is a hell of a motivator as a coach.
Yeah, agreed. Well, all right, let's get out of here. Brandon Walker tomorrow. Let's have a day at Barstool. The DraftKings Fantasy Football Factory pod will be out tomorrow morning, too. Don't forget, DraftKings King of the Court's almost over. They're giving away $1 million in free bets, so make sure you pick somebody tonight. Congrats to everybody that had Jokic last night. Let's have a day, fellas. It's beautiful weather. What's not to love? Man, I love fall. The leaves are changing, football, and Stella Blue coffee. And this season, maple pumpkin pie. But my morning routine would not be complete without Dumpkin Spice Dude Wipes.
Oh, Mintzy, let it rip.
Cheers, furry fellas. Coffee that fuels you, wipes that clean you.